sages like Tirumoolar are one in a billion, as truth reveals itself only to the select few. Why it is so? It's a $1 million question. And Tirumoolar's Tirumandiram speaks about the unspeakable ultimate truth. It might look at the first sight a contradiction, an oxymoron, to use a figure of speech. Tirumoolar is not only an enlightened sage but an able communicator, a poet par excellence. A sage, whether Tirumoolar, Jesus, Tao, or Rumi, have spoken out of anubhuti, that is personal experience, pointing out this indescribable truth to attain which one has to make his own effort through self-enquiry, as explained in my last episode. A sage is a living truth beyond which there is nothing to be attained. Quote, I have attained that state beyond which nothing is to be achieved, and this is my last birth, quotation ends, proclaimed Buddha. Similarly, all these sages say in one voice that there is only one truth, accepting which there is no other truth, and it is beyond description, as a human thought and words are absent there. Coming to this poem, the poet Tirumoolar, by his literary mastery and spiritual delivery, confirms the above fact. Let me recite it and translate it as usual with my limited understanding. உரையற்ற ஒன்றை உரை செய்யும் ஊமர்கள், கரையற்ற ஒன்றை கரை காணலாமோ, திரையற்ற நீர் போல சிந்தை தெளிவார்க்கு பொறையற்றிருந்தான் புரிசடையோனே. Translation. O fools, you try to put down in words the truth, wordless. How could one reach the shore of the shoreless? But for those whose quiet mind remains like ocean, waveless, Shiva with his strand of thrice knitted hair presents himself as the faultless. So truth is wordless, shoreless, waveless, and faultless. The ultimate truth, the beginning of all beginnings and end of all endings, is beyond human thought, but presents itself before the liberated souls only. It is a classic case of a sight to see but not to tell. The sight is non-phenomenal, incomparable, pure consciousness, an objectless subject. Let me try paraphrasing it. This 4-line rhythmic esoteric poem should be explained in couplet form. The first couplet concerns the ignorant people, though literate, well educated. The next couplet refers to the enlightened sages, like Tirumoolar. The first couplet says, the literary poets who pretended to show off their poetic skill tried to describe the holy truth as a result of their bookish knowledge. Tirumoolar warns these people, O fools, do not waste your earthly words to describe this unearthly truth. Truth is always with capital T, which your words cannot catch. As a divine poet compares a human's vain effort to cross the shoreless ocean in search of the shore. His question is, how could your limited words describe the limitless truth? The second couplet gives credit to the ignorance-free sages, to whom truth reveals itself on its own. Again, the poet takes up the simile of the ocean, not only the shoreless but waveless, like the far-off, deep-down, quiet ocean. Here comes Tirumoolar's esoteric meaning. The waves-free ocean is compared to the thought-free sages. Ignorant man's turbulent thoughts, according to sages, have a stranglehold over truth, preventing it from revealing itself. Once the thoughts become quiet by luck or divine grace, the truth or God or primordial consciousness or whatever is there is revealed. Tirumoolar with his Vedic wisdom symbolizes the truth as Lord Shiva with his insignia of the crescent moon and flowing Ganga river over his knitted hair. This knitted hair is mentioned as Tirisadai in Tamil. Though it may be called the knitted hair in English, there is a divine message in this Tamil word, Tirisadai. This knitted hair comes out of joining three strands of hair. These three are termed as Vyabhagam, Vyapyam, and Vyati, meaning omnipresent, indirectly known, and revelation, in that order. On joining these three strands of hair, it becomes one. It is spiritually called Advaita, the one without the second. It is like three rivers merging into the big one ocean. Here again, Tirumular proclaims whatever he has seen and experienced is beyond the description of words. Why? Because the thought wave is absent in a sage. As you know, words are the children of thought. When thought stops, words too stop. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, quote, the words return along with the mind, not attaining it. Quotation ends. The mind's grandchildren, as it were, are words. Another voice from Sri Ramana Maharishi says, quote, truth is beyond words. It does not admit of explanation. All that is possible to do is only to indicate it. Hence, whatever is said by sages is not a full description, but only a hint. Here, all our phenomenal knowledge takes a beating, failing to reveal the wordless truth. The ignorant neither has seen the truth, nor he has the appropriate words to describe it. The sages go one step further and say, quote, it is not knowing the truth, but being the truth. Quotation ends. Here, there is no dialogue partner. Dialogue partner for the only one truth, whose characteristic ultimate nickname is silence. Another symbol of silence is Shiva, the Dakshina Murti, the first and foremost Guru. Not by word, but his Chin Mudra, joining the thumb with the index finger. He teaches his four disciples seated at his feet the secondless Advaita. He teaches the secondless Advaita, coinciding with the biblical statement, quote, I am that I am. It is further explained in one of the Upanishadic Mahavakyas, that thou art, within quotation. This is the sum and substance of Tirumular's poem. We use words in this phenomenal world for communication purpose. Even Buddha terms it as Sammuti truth, as against Paramarthika truth. To add strength to my talk, let me recite a verse from the Chinese Upanishadic Tao, Ta, Te, Ching, the name of the book. The poet Lao Tzu, excuse me for my accent, the Chinese Tirumular says, all the world talks about my Tao with such familiarity. What folly! Tao is not something found in the marketplace or passed on from father to son. It is not gained by knowing or lost by forgetting. If Tao were like this, it should have been lost and forgotten long ago. Here it is worth mentioning about Yuji's words. He also says about this truth. What I am saying is outside the field of teachability. Is there any doubt? Clear, my dear viewers, that wisdom is independent of time, place and language. Only sages with their wisdom eye could indirectly indicate it, as Tirumular in this poem tries to reveal. Sweet becomes sweet only by tasting it and not by describing it, however your language skill is.